Konnan, did you watch our favorite show, Smackdown?
Boom.
Okay, let's review it. I've not watched Raw yet, but I did watch
I have.
SmackDown.
Yeah.
So the show, I want to load. So the show opens up with they open up with a match, an Intercontinental title match, Gunther versus Braun Strowman, and this was a good. This was 18 minutes, but Braun sold really well because Gunther worked the arm, and they
Right.
told a pretty good story here. And it went 18 minutes, and it did not, you
Feel
would
like
think
18 minutes. Yeah.
didn't feel like 18 minutes at all. So Gunther went up to the top rope. Strowman got his feet and sent him into a seated position with a hard right hand, and Gunther twisted Strowman's arm. Win. This is definitely Gunther's biggest win to date. I would say, and they also beat. Who else did he beat? Sheamus too. So he's actually racking up a lot of wins and working his way up the ladder here.
Yeah, you can see there's a couple guys are building. Sikoa's one guy, Gunther's
Right.
another one. You know,
Right. This is a good build.
Yeah.
Because he's coming. It's like this guy's been a champion for a while. And he's beaten the guys that you thought they might have put one gun over on him. Right.
Yes, very good point.
Here's a few notes from it in case you guys hadn't read it or didn't know. It's SmackDown averaged 2.326 million viewers, up 3.1% from the previous week, but it was tied for the top spot on all of television with a 0.55 rating in the 18 to 49 demo, and it led all English language networks with a 0.5 rating in the 18 to 34 demo. So it's getting a young audience too.
I don't usually like Braun's matches due to his limitations, but this was a long, basic match. I didn't even know it was 18 minutes, so you told me. But this was a long, basic match, and Gunther carried him to a good match. But you got to credit Braun because he has improved, and kind of funny because you can tell Vince is not in charge because this was his. He lost. He lost in his hometown. But credit Braun, he has improved and he sold, which made the match much better. And if you've noticed, he's incorporated the running outside the ring and shoulder tackling his opponent to a pop, which he did here. And he always gets a pop when he rips off his shirt right after a comeback, which he did here too. But this time he did it on top of a table, which got a big pop. Here's the thing: I'm not sure though. This was a clean finish. Okay, so I think he might have heat over making that comment about the high flyers.
A little, not completely clean. He had to fight the guys off on the apron.
Yeah, but still, he got power bombed. I mean, he got him off the top, power bombed right in the finish. Yeah.
Yeah. So Ray's music hits, and he heads to the ring dressed in street clothes, and the announcing question whether he would declare for the Rumble match. Ray said the holidays are always special and exciting to him because he cherishes time with his family after spending so many years on the road. He mentioned Dominic trying to ruin his Christmas. Now he's walking around like he's a thug or some hardened criminal. And Ray said as a father, it breaks his heart. He then said that he needed to get himself back on track winning the Rumble match, and this prompted the entrance of Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Kross had a shirt and tie on, and Scarlett stayed at ringside. He wasn't really around when Dominic was a kid.
Hey, back up a little bit, Disco. You froze right after you said Kross was wearing a shirt and tie in the ring.
Okay. Kross was wearing a shirt and tie, and Scarlett stayed at ringside. Kross said he heard Ray talking about goals, and he needs goals because he doesn't know how he peels his broken ass out of bed every day. Kross recalls 17 years ago when Ray won the Rumble and said it must have been a big day for his son Dominic. But Ray wouldn't know because he wasn't really around when Dominic was a kid. Kross then asked Ray if he hates Dominic more for not growing up to be just like him or himself for failing to raise his son just like him. Then Ray punched Kross right in the face and tripped him onto the ropes, and Scarlett tripped Ray as he hit the ropes for the 619, and then Kross choked him out. And as Ray went out, the lights went red, and Scarlett held up a tarot card, and Kross and Scarlett walked away while Ray recovered. What did you think of this?
Well, this was a very good segment. Kross really needed it. I think one of the things that I noticed is when the Kross and Drew feud, which should have been money, for whatever reason, it didn't work out. And a lot of people, I told you so. I told you he's in a big star and all that. Bro, everybody's been in a bad program for whatever reason. Sometimes you don't have chemistry. Sometimes the booking isn't good. But for whatever reason, the thing with Drew did not elevate it like it should have. But I think with Ray, because Ray's so easy to work with, and plus I've worked with both of them, I think they're going to have really good matches, and I like the thing where he went to hit him with the 619 and Scarlett grabbed the leg. I liked when Ray said, I've had enough of your they got bleeped, but the place really popped because originally they wanted him to say, "I'm tired of your nonsense," which would have got no pop, and of course buries him.
Oh, so that's what he said that they edited out. I didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Right. And then at the end, remember at the end when Scarlett was holding the tarot card with an image of Mysterio, that was supposed to set on fire, but nobody's a wiser because nobody knew it. So all we saw was the image of Rey. But I thought this was very good.
Let me tell you, they could actually, and let me tell you, they've never done this in WWE, okay? And I think they could tell a story about Rey is nearing the end of his career. He's like the last, he's like the guy that like put Lucha on the map and stuff. Everything, he still has his mask, bro. You could do a story here where it leads to, and the way they could tell the story about the respect of wrestling, Mexican wrestling, the history stuff, bro. You could do a hair versus mask match with these two guys because Cross is. I talked to Kevin. Cross wants to grow his hair like 12 inches longer. Okay, but like you could do a hair versus mask, and it would. I think I absolutely think you tell a story. What do you think about that?
Well, not just that. Not just a Lucha Libre legend. He's a WWE legend. I don't think there's anybody right now in that company that has more tenure than him.
Right.
Like
they could do a thing where Cross vows to burn his, beat him and burn his mask. Like ruin his leg, and he would. Bro, I honestly think that if there's like a visual picture of like Rey standing over Cross holding his hair, could like take in his hand. I don't know. I think you could. I think you could go that direction.
100%.
Absolutely.
They never do angles at the Hall of Fame, really. But what if they had Cross and Rey at WrestleMania, and Cross came out and did that on the stage at the Hall of Fame, beat the balls off him, and then took his mask and held it up, in front of that crowd?
I don't think they do that at
the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So backstage,
they've never done an angle there, right?
No.
Right.
I don't think they're going to start now.
Yeah.
But this is a little bit interesting to me, this backstage segment. Emma, Maxine Dupree, and Raquel Rodriguez questioned why Liv would want to enter the Rumble at number 1. Raquel told her that someone of her size would be better off going in last. Then Liv told her she had her palm read earlier and told her to look at what it said while pointing at her palm. She then slapped Raquel across the face and told her that they should have a match. Raquel said she was tired of people forgetting she was the biggest and strongest around, and Liv laughed and said whatever. So I like that because Raquel Rodriguez finally showed some personality besides being the smiley, happy, biggest chick on the roster, So what do you think of this?
You muted yourself, Konnan.
Tony, you're muted.
They're trying to I have a different opinion. I think they're trying to make Liv into a badass by having her bake a table every match and using kendo stick, and it ain't working for me. I just think she's so short and her physicality doesn't match what they're trying to do. This time she slapped the taste out of Raquel to show how much of a badass she is. And Raquel just dwarfs her. And if they were getting to a legit street fight, she would eat her up. So she slaps her and she just stares at her. I don't think that helps her at all. And then, okay, go ahead into the match because they have a match, right?
Well, that's later. But Tegan Nox wrestles Xia Li and beats her 2 minutes 54 seconds. I don't really know much to say about that.
Did they do the thing with Sheamus and Drew with Pierce at the backstage?
Not yet. So after the match, footage was shown of the Viking Raiders attacking Sheamus and McIntyre after SmackDown last week. And then we got a Viking Raiders vignette of Valhalla read some runes that determined that Sheamus and McIntyre were destined to suffer. So backstage, McIntyre and Sheamus were slapping each other playfully while arguing over whether they should face the Usos or the Viking Raiders first. And Adam Pearce told him that he would start a tag team tournament next week. That they would face the Usos. The tournament would start against the Viking Raiders. And they said that was perfect. The tournament would be banger after banger. What do you think?
Okay, so let me just say the Viking Raiders thing, you could barely hear what they were saying. The sound wasn't mixed in right. It was very, very low. You couldn't understand what they're saying. And the Sheamus and Drew slapping each other like they did last week and then slapping Pierce on the back at the end I thought was funny.
Yeah, but it's a good gimmick they get going.
Yeah. Right. But repeating the line bang after bang after bang is Mega Jojo Starbucks.
I don't mind it.
Not a fan.
So Bray Wyatt comes out in his spotlight in the middle of the ring. He's sitting in a rocking chair, and he said, "Green Bay, we're here." He says, "Crazy that sometimes."
Did you say about the Tegan match?
Yeah, it said there's 2 minutes 50. You actually want to talk about that?
Well, I just want to say, bro, thank God it was short. But I just want to say this: people aren't into it. Neither am I, and the match was cold as a corpse. Keep kicking.
Right. So Wyatt said it's crazy that sometimes we forget who we are, and all it takes is someone to push you in the right direction and remember everything. Wyatt said he's this color red in the sea of black and white, and he called himself the nagging conscience of a world that has thrown itself to moral monsters. Wyatt says he knows who he is, but who are you? He told LA Knight that the only thing he needs to remember is that when the lights go out, he better run. Then the old school Wyatt family transition cut him out, and it just kind of ended.
What do you think of this?
I just every segment he's been on TV since he's been back has been awkward.
Okay, so I actually saw this on my tape delay, and I had read some comments that this was really good, and I was like, good, finally, Bray is going to hit one of those promos that, endeared me to him. I thought this was underwhelming, and I'm a big Bray Wyatt fan. I'm kind of losing interest, but I want to see what happens with the Howdy Doody there. So I'm going to wait around for that, but I am losing interest.
So they're going to interview Owens backstage, but Sammy interrupts and they start yelling at each other. And Sammy's basically saying, "Why are you trying to ruin everything for me? Can't you see that me and the Bloodline are family? Can't you see the what's his name? When Roman hugs me, and said he can't stand the fact he's found a place where he belongs." He told Owens that tonight was family business and he would take care of it later tonight. So,
bro, this is such a good, interesting storyline, and these two have great chemistry. Obviously, best friends, but these two have a great chemistry, and they deliver believable promos. They're not like wrestling promos, And I like when I love when Owens told them, "Are you happy? Roman is the one putting you in this position, using you, so he never has to come to work. Now he's putting doubts in his head. And especially with what happened at the end of the show. So this is really well written.
Caleb Braxton interviewed Imperium backstage, our far-right European faction. Gunther said he overcame his greatest challenge so far, and for the love of the mat and his title, he defeated Braun Strowman. Gunther then declared himself for the Rumble, that he would claim his rightful place in the main event of WrestleMania. I agree with him. I think he should be in the main event of WrestleMania. I'm a fan of it. So Raquel Rodriguez wrestles Liv Morgan, and this is kind of... I would have had Raquel been more dominating in this match than she was, but she beat her.
Well, they're trying to push Liv as this badass, which she doesn't come off as and isn't, which I don't believe. And then the other thing that to me buries Raquel, besides the goofy smile, is, dude, when are you going to take off that cast? Because they use that as an out. So and it's like Liv never went after the cast. It's like, bro, she's literally saying, "Hey, I'm hurt here." And it's almost as Liv was going, "I don't really see it." It's like, if somebody's going into the ring injured, why aren't you attacking that injured limb?
I have no idea.
Right, okay.
So next is they showed the stuff from Sonya Deville and Charlotte last week. And backstage, Sonya's argued with Adam Pearce. She wants another title shot. Pierce insisted that she enter the Rumble, and Sonya did not like that because she says she's right there and she should deserve a rematch. So she's upset about having to go in the Rumble. So then we go to commercial. We come back from commercial.
Let me just say this. Were they brawling yet? No.
Not yet. So we come back from commercial, and Sonny's attacking her backstage. The referees are right to break it up and separate it multiple times. Then we get basically, yeah. So we got that. So she
Did he just freeze?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm back.
Okay.
So basically, she wants to wrestle Charlotte in a rematch. She doesn't want to have to go to the Rumble and do it. Pierce is making her go to the Rumble. She's got mad. So she's attacking Charlotte to try and goad her into another match, I guess, is that the angle here.
Right. So all the stuff, the interaction between Pierce and Sonya, as usual, very well done. I like Sonya because she's very physical. If you remember last year, I think it was, she slapped the shit out of Mandy Rose a couple times, which I was like, big pop from me. Right. And what I liked about this brawl is Sonya's always physical. Charlotte's always physical, so they both brung in it. It looked better than most of the women's brawls. Well, I would say all of them, basically. Nothing.
Right. So they had another Cody Rhodes package.
Very well done.
Yes, they're putting a lot of time in it.
Yep.
All right, so next is Owens versus Zayn. Bro, these guys have wrestled each other 100 times, maybe more in their career, but over the past 20 years. But my Hulu cut off like 5 minutes before the end of this show. So I'm going to read it. I didn't see this. I don't know. I don't know what the finish is. I'm reading it for the first time. Zayn landed a tornado DDT from the top and scored a close near fall. And he places Owens back on the top rope, but Owens battled and landed a suplex from the top. Then Zayn fired back and back-to-back half and half suplexes that landed high angles on his neck. Then Sammy set up for a Helluva kick, but the Usos and Solo jumped in the ring to jump Owens, and the match was called off. So it's a no contest. And after the match, the Usos hit a 1D and continued to assault Owens on the floor, and the Usos told him he had done good, but he was disappointed that he wasn't trusted to do the job himself. Solo ran along the barricade and timekeeper's table and landed a splash on Kevin Owens through the announce table. I actually saw a clip of this later, so that looked pretty cool. And the rest of Bloodline held up one finger to close the show, but Sammy was still unhappy with the situation. What'd you think of this?
Bro, I thought this was a really good match. He had him set up for the Helluva kick, and that's when Usos and Solo jumped the guardrail and then beat Owens, leading to a disqualification. And so now Sammy is like, why'd you do that? I had him, you know, and now he's kind of questioning for the first time, like, what's going on here? So I just love, you know, the mind games Roman's playing with him, all the questions that are going to be answered. And when this guy turns baby on Roman, this is going to be mega money.
I'm still saying
that's a good idea.
That they listen to this show and that they like my idea better. And Sammy's going to end up being the heel and they're going to turn Roman the babyface.
Yeah. Well, I like the original idea. I think they should go with that.
I should book AAA then.
Yeah, well, I I always respect your right to be wrong, which you usually are. I'd like to say that this was a good show, except for the women and Wyatt, and really good ending. Solo Sikoa jumping over the barriers and picking up speed. They hit him with that splash was great. The place went nuts. I mean, all the Bloodline does is great. Kevin Owens involved makes it even better. Sami Zayn is, you know, really good stuff, bro. They started off the show good. The whole show was good, and they ended it good. Good show.
So that's been our SmackDown review.
Enjoy the rest of the show. Boom.